hit record. All right, guys. So with that, I'm going to start this week's training. Hopefully everybody is excited. You have your notebook and your notepad readily available and handy to take notes. Again, to the leaders that are on the training, I'm going to need you to engage with me. It doesn't necessarily have to be me calling on you. Man, just say, hey, Nick, man, I got a comment on that. I got something I want to add to that. And we'll get you in there and tag you in and let you say your piece, because I think that some of these areas, it begs for you all's feedback and you all's comments on, okay? And so this is a good training, man. I had fun putting this together. And so the name of this week's training is Warning. Warning. 10 warnings to keep you in business. Oh, y'all not excited. 10 warnings that will keep you in business. And so with that being said, guys, you want to write these things down and make note of them. And like I said, we're going to have fun with this tonight, all right? And so 10 warnings, right? 10 things that are going to keep you in business. So let's get into number one, man. We're not going to waste any time, right? Warning number one. Check this out, family. You need to only focus on what you can control. That's warning number one. So often, we can get super frustrated with the business because we're focused on the things that are beyond our control. And so what are the things that you can control? Some of you guys know this. It might be familiar and old hat to you. For others, this is new. And so I want you to really lock in on these things I'm about to share. It's 3 things, 1, 2, 3, 3 things that you can control in your Primerica business. And it's your attitude, your activity, and your attendance. Those are only 3 things that you can control in your Primerica business. It's your attitude, your activity, and your attendance. Let me say this. It is your responsibility to manage your attitude. When you come to the table, when you come to the meetings, when you get on conference calls, when you talk to your teammates, when you talk to your upline, when you talk to your regional vice presidents or your senior vice president, it is your responsibility to have great energy, to have a great attitude. Because just like our founder of the company, Art Williams, says, nobody wants to be around a negative, dull, disillusioned, frustrated, daggum crybaby. So we have to manage our attitude, right? Don't put a nega tag on everything. Yeah, I got to recruit, but. Yeah, man, she said she was going to do the business, but. No, like, you need to have the most amazing attitude. I'm telling you right now, when I joined the business, that was something that I was fortunate enough to have as well. I always had, that's just kind of how I'm wired. I'm an eternal optimist. The glass is half full, not half empty. It's just kind of how I look at things. I'm looking at things through rose-colored glasses. So some people might say, hey, Nick, you're naive. I'm not. I'm just erring on the side of being positive. And I'm asking you to do the same. Just manage your attitude. The second thing, you can only manage your activity. I can't worry about how many appointments that Benicia is setting and how many appointments that Shadrika got and how many appointments that Constance got. And I can't worry about that. Now, I care. And so part of me does, I guess you could say worry about, but I can't control that. Like, I can't force them to schedule no appointments. This is a volunteer business, right? You know, this is not like a job. It's not that, right? I can try to influence it, encourage it, and say, hey, look, man, if you do these things, you know, this is what will happen. We're fighting in this thing together. But at the end of the day, I can't control it. And teammates, what I'm going to tell you is that if you have people on your team, if you're fortunate enough to want to build a team and all that good stuff, you cannot control your teammates' activity. You can't control it. You can't control if they're going to study for the test or they don't study for it. You can't control that. But you can control if you studying for the test or if you scheduling appointments. You can control that. And just like that, you can control your attendance, right? You make the decision whether or not you're going to jump on Sunday conference call. You make the decision whether or not you're going to jump on the Tuesday training. You make the decision whether or not you're going to plug into our once a month Hierarchy Super Sunday. You make the decision. Nobody can force you to do that. But I'm telling you right now that as long as you can govern and control yourself, that's enough. Because when you do that and you're doing the right things, family, you are setting the right example. You're setting the right example. Because believe it or not, you cannot expect for your teammate, if you start recruiting and building a team, listen to me when I say this, you cannot expect people on your team, right, to have a great attitude if you don't have one. You cannot expect the people on your team to have activity and schedule appointments if you don't have activity. And you cannot expect them to attend and to plug in the trainings if your training attendance is, right? And so you're going to get it honest. You're going to get it honest. If you're not doing those things, then they're going to be hard to come by for you when it's your time. But those are the only three things that you can control. Anybody want to chime in here and weigh in on what I'm saying? You're more than welcome. I'm more than happy to get you off mute. Just, hey, somebody, just raise the hand. Well, I can't really see it in my view that I'm in right now. But just shoot me a chat or just come off mute and say, hey, Nick, I got a comment, and we'll tag you in and all that good stuff. But that's the first warning. Don't try to focus on things that you cannot control. You can only control, right, your attitude, your activity, and also your attendance. So let's keep it moving to the second warning. Oh man, we just getting warmed up, right? So the second warning, warning number 2, are y'all ready? Don't ever let anyone on your team think or feel that they're working for you, right? Make every person know and feel that they are working for themselves. Y'all got to hear me on that. Don't ever let anyone on your team think or feel that they're working for you. Make everybody feel like they're working for themselves. Let me say this, guys. People didn't join Primerica to have another boss, right? They didn't join Primerica for somebody to be trying to wolf all down their neck or what's she doing on it. Don't treat people like that. Don't hound people. Don't booger them down. Obviously, you got to follow up and you hold people accountable to some things that they say, but you never let people feel as though that they're working for you. So kind of really be conscious of using a lot of words like my and I, and and getting people so caught up in you and what you've got going on in Primerica. No, this is about them. This is a servant leadership business. You want to focus most of your conversation with people on what they've got going on. Hey, how can I help you build your business? When you start shaping the conversation about, and you're using you talking about some, hey man, don't you want to help? Listen to me. I know there's nobody on this call that is doing this, but I've heard this before in the past where people will say, hey man, I was talking to my team about how they can help me win the contest, the Primerica trip. And I was like, you did not talk to your team about how they can help you win the contest. You didn't do that, did you? Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, what are we talking about? And so you don't set this thing up to where you're talking to people and they're getting the impression or the feeling like they're working for you. No, we work for them. Even in the presentation, we say that. I say, hey, Benicia doesn't work for me. I work for her. It's my responsibility to work with her and for her, to teach her the business, to help mentor her, to coach her, to answer text messages and calls like that. And so like that's my job. People ask me all kinds of it's my job to do those things, right? And so we work for you. That's the impression that your team needs to have, is that you are working for them, right? And so that's the second warning. That's the second warning. So if there's anything that's hitting home to anybody, you don't have to confess. You can just blink your eye real hard and be like, man, Nick, okay. All right. And so, and again, jump in at any time if anybody has any comments or thoughts around any of these warnings. So that's warning number 2, right? Let's go on to warning number 3, right? And so warning number 3 is, again, we're talking about the 10 warnings to keep you in business. Warning number 3. Oh, this is a big one, family. You cannot lead, coach, or train anyone in the business that does not consistently plug into trainings. I'm going to repeat that. You cannot lead, coach, or train anyone that does not consistently plug in to trainings. So I'm going to save you the time, the energy, and the eventual frustration of that. If you have somebody that's on your team and they're good people, because everybody's good people, but for some reason or another, they're not able, they're not. It's not about being able to, but they're not plugging into the trainings and the conference calls. They're not plugging in. I don't know if they're not forgetting, it's not a priority, they just don't feel like it's their thing, or whatever the case may be. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be able to really lead those people. You're not going to really be able to coach those people. And it's going to be very, very challenging to train those people because they're not engaged enough in the business for anything that you share in the time that you do spend with them to actually stick. So let me come at it another way. There's a saying in Primerica that Primerica, some of you all know where I'm going, Primerica is caught, not taught. I'm going to repeat that. Primerica is caught, not taught, right? What do I mean by that? I had to be around the business for a period of time before the things that I had heard over and over again to start really making sense. I had to be around Stephen and Phoenicia and Terrell and the people and Tony and people in the base shop and come to trainings and listen to things and go on appointments and plugging in. I had to be around before the stuff actually started making sense because it was a different language to me, just like this is a different language to a lot of you guys. You can sit in training here and there and you can hear me talk about a qualified market. You can hear me talk about how to close business. But if you're not consistently plugging in and if you're not around the business enough, it's not going to stick. And you know how I know it's not going to stick? Because I've trained over things, right, that you guys will still ask me questions about. And I know that you were in the training. And I don't hold that against you. I just know that, hey, the more that they stick around and the more that they stay in training, the more this stuff will start to make sense. There's things that I'm going to say to you today that you might take a note of and you look back 3 months from now or 6 months from now, if you've been consistently plugging in and if you've been active in your business, it's going to actually have a more profound meaning. Has anybody ever had a situation to where you've read a chapter or some scripture in the Bible, and then you come back and read that same chapter or scripture in the Bible maybe 6 months or a year later, and you get something totally different? You're like, man, I have read this passage or this story several times before, but now I got a totally new perspective on what's going on with this story. I mean, there's things that I'm gleaning from it now that I wasn't seeing or that I wasn't understanding a year ago. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to Primerica. I get revelations even to this point. I'm over 15 years into this thing, and I still get revelations about things because things need to be reinforced. Things need to be said again. I'm at a different place in business. So now when people say stuff, it means something else to me now. It's going to be the same thing with you. But I'm telling you right now, family, if you have people on your team and you see them as somebody that, hey, man, I think that I want to work with them. I think they got a lot of potential. But Benicia, they're not plugging in. I'm here to tell you right now, you cannot lead, train, or coach those people. Not until they make the decision to start consistently plugging in. I'm not talking about they showed up to one training in a month and they showed up to 2 trainings. They've been in the business for 2 months, 2-3 months, and they showed up to 2 trainings and they haven't plugged it up. And then you're thinking that you're going to call them up and get them excited about going to get their promotion. No, ma'am, no, sir. No, ma'am, no, sir. You cannot coach, lead, or train anyone that's not consistently plugging in. So what does that mean? If you really want to know who your real team is, listen to me, somebody. If you really want to know how many people that you have on your team, how many people do you have showing up to training? That's your team. And that's with anything. The team is the one that shows up to practice. Ask any high school coach, or junior high coach, or college coach, football, basketball, baseball, soccer. If the person ain't showing up to practice, they not on the team. They not playing. I don't care who they are. So trainings are the practice. So if you really want to know who your team is, Shadrika, who's on your team, how many people you got on your team, Erica, right? Then you got to see, who do I got showing up to training? If you don't have anybody showing up to training, then you are your team. If you only got 2 people showing up to training, okay, well, I may have recruited 10 people, but only 2 are showing up. That's your team. That's your team. And that's what it is. Auntie, you had a comment that you wanted to share, or a comment, or something you wanted to say? You good? Okay. All right. I just saw you come off mute, and I wanted to see if you had anything that you wanted to add to it. Anybody else have anything they want to add to this? All right. I see Eric's comment. It's so funny. All right. So let me share warning number. Okay, we just getting into it, man. That's warning number 3. Warning number 3. Okay, we getting to warning number 4, right? Hopefully y'all are taking heed to these warnings. Warning number 4. Hold on a second. Here we go. Y'all ready for it? When recruiting, don't pick your winners too soon. Let people prove they're winners by doing. When recruiting, don't pick your winners too soon. Let people prove to you that they are a winner by what? By that action, boss, by doing. Let people prove that they're winners by doing. I know that he is a supervisor over HR, and I know that she is an assistant principal over the largest school in the city. And I mean, I know they part of this fraternity sorority. Man, this couple is over the ministry of one of the largest churches. That's cool. And it's okay to get excited about people. It's okay. Just don't crown them too soon. Don't do it. Don't anoint them as your next regional vice president too soon. Don't do it. You let people prove that they're winners by doing, right? You look at a person's actions, right? You let a person's actions be their spokesperson. That's what you do, right? What actions are they taking? Are they showing up to trainings? Okay. Yeah, they showing up to trainings. Great, man. I registered them for class. Did they complete? Yeah, I've seen on the system. They completed class. They shot me a text saying that, yep, they get in class. Are they studying? Let me check the system. Yeah, wow, okay. They've been in the simulator. I see that they've scored. Man, they got the green light. Come on with it. All right. We're supposed to be scheduling some appointments. Have they given me a list yet? Yeah, man, they're texting me names left and right of people for me to call to schedule character reference appointments with. They're calling me. They're hounding me. They're calling me more than I'm calling them. Let people prove that they're winners by doing. Are they coachable? When you say, hey, look, I recommend that, hey, do this, try this, do that. Are they actually doing it? Are they good? Let people prove to you they're doing. Just because they look good on paper, doesn't make them a winner. Point in case. This might hurt somebody's feelings, but before the basketball season started, come on, Nick. People that chose the Los Angeles Clippers to be the title contenders. Oh, man, the Clippers already had a strong team, man. They gave Golden State a run for their money. They didn't even really have a legitimate superstar in last year's playoff. And now they added perennial all-stars, two of the best wing defenders, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Oh, man, let's go and give them the championship. And they got their tail bounced out of the playoffs in the second round by a team that nobody picked to win. Because one of their players, Marcus Morris, one of their players, after they evened up the series, Denver came all the way back. They were down 3-1 in a best out of 7 series. He had to win 4. They were 1 win away from going on to the next round, and they let a team that nobody picked to win come down from a 3-1 deficit and tie it up 3-3. And one of their players said, it don't matter how we look on paper. We have to go out and play the game and win. And they played a decisive game 7. Y'all know what happened. And they lost. But a lot of people looked at that and said, what just happened? They weren't supposed to lose. They got a Hall of Fame coach. They got a couple of Hall of Famers on their team. Man, they got the tenacity, they got the talent. They got the talent. How come they couldn't get the job done? Because you can't pick your winners too soon. Anybody who had been watching basketball, you would have saw that, man, there's some flaws in this roster. Just like you might look at your recruits and they look good, they dress good, they drive good, they got this, they got that. You know, don't pick your winners too soon, y'all. Let them prove to you by doing, all right? And so going on to warning number 5. And before we go into warning number 5, there might be something else in here that I want to share. Yep, this is an honorable mention. Now, this isn't part of the 10. This is just, I threw in a couple of honorable mentions to be able to cover, to just throw in there. This is an honorable mention. You want to write this one down too. Family, this is something that I'm really serious about. You want to spend 90% of your time with only the people that are on your team that are coachable. You want to spend 90% of your time with only the people that are coachable. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't care about and you don't love everybody and that you don't give people time. It doesn't mean that. But this means that, hey, look, if you really want to grow your organization, you want to spend most of your time with the people that are coachable, the people that are engaged, the people that, because otherwise, I think that that's a poor investment of your time if you're not doing that, you know. And you can build relationships with everybody, be friends with. I'm telling you, but when it comes to building this business, you want to spend 90% of your time with the people that are coachable, right? And if you need me to elaborate on that, we could definitely just have an off-the-record conversation, all that good stuff. But that's just an honorable mention that I want to throw in there, right? And so let's go on to the next warning. The next warning is warning number 5. And warning number 5, again, we're talking about the 10 warnings to keep you in business. Warning number 5. Don't abdicate that's supposed to be too much responsibility to a new recruit. Don't abdicate too much responsibility to a new recruit. I'm sorry about that poor grammar, but yeah, that's supposed to be too much. Don't abdicate too much responsibility to a new recruit. Let me say this, team. 10% of leadership is given. 10% of leadership is given while 90% of it is taken. 10% of it is given, while the other 90% of the leadership should be taken. And I see that oftentimes is that in our attempt to try to delegate and offload responsibilities, we abdicate responsibilities to new recruits too soon. You're headed down a path to where it's going to be the kiss of death in your business, because it can create a lot of confusion as to who does what, who's responsible for this. Things fall through the cracks, you know, in the follow-up. Like, what's going on with this? What's going on there? I don't know. So-and-so was supposed to be doing that. I don't know. So, well, you're the leader. You're the leader. You should not be abdicating too much responsibility. Now, it's okay to have a new recruit do this and this, that, and the other, but really, really focus on it. If you have a question about it, call me as your vice president or call your upline and talk to them about it. But do not abdicate too much responsibility to a new recruit too soon. Your new recruit should not be doing their new recruit's orientation, right? Your new recruit should not be managing their recruit's licensing process and their paperwork and things like that. They shouldn't be doing that. There's certain things that as the leader, as the field trainer, that you have to take ownership of, because people join this business entrusting you. Because 9 times out of 10, it was you that did the presentation with them. So they're entrusting you with their process. So do not abdicate a responsibility to a new person who might not be ready to really walk in that. Don't do that. Because I'm telling you right now, if things fall through the cracks, stuff gets lost, whatever the case may be, nothing gets followed up on, it's going to come back to you. All right? And I'm telling you guys things that I have personally been guilty of, right? I've personally been guilty of this. Don't abdicate too much responsibility to a new recruit too soon. 10% of leadership is given, which means that you give a new recruit, maybe 10%, and see and watch and listen and notice if they take the other 90%. If they take the, one thing about Benicia, I said, hey, do this, she, reluctantly like, oh, nigga, but with that 10%, she took the 90 to the point where she like, well, Nick, man, we got our own little conference call, we got a team meeting going, really? Okay, all right. I didn't have to say, well, maybe you need to do this. I wasn't forcing her, no, she took the other 90%. Now, sometimes when you're giving the 10%, the new recruit might be like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't want the 10. Oh, I don't want the 10. But once they get the 10, let's see if they can work with the 10. Come on now. Somebody put out their initiative. I see you, Anita. If they take the 10 and they turn it into the other 90, that's for them to do. But if you're trying to force the 90 on a new recruit, I'm telling you right now, you're setting yourself up and that team and that person up for disaster. They have to take the 90. You give them the 10 and see if they're going to take the 90. Are y'all with me on this? Because I'm just trying to save you all from some situations later that might come back on you. And somebody ask a question or what happened to them, and you like at a loss because you abdicated a responsibility to somebody that wasn't ready to do that. All right? And so I just wanted to make that clear. 10% of the leadership is given. Right? 10% is given. The other 90% should be taken by the new recruit. All right? And so, so we're at the halfway mark right now. I want to see if anybody has any questions or feedback. I think Adrian put something out there. What was number one? Number one was only focus on the things that you can control. Only focus on the things that you can control. And the only things that you can control is your attitude, your activity, and your attendance. Your attitude, your activity, and your attendance. So number one was focus only on the things that you can control. All right. Any questions or comments? Any feedback from anybody?
Shout out to Nick Bracey for the word usage of abdicate.
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
Yeah. Good stuff. I appreciate that, Demeter. Anybody else? Anybody? All right, cool. We're going to keep it. Yes. All right, so here we go. So we were at the halfway point. Yeah. All right, so let's go on to number 6. Warning number 6. Warning number 6. The answer to that question is you need more people. That's warning number 6. The answer to that question is you need more people. That's warning number 6. I'm going to repeat that. The answer to that question is you need more people, right? And so, Nick, what do you mean by that? Right? You need more people is the answer to a lot of questions in Primerica. Right? Nick, I'm trying to get this promotion. Man, like I'm trying to get things going. I mean, I'm trying to get my cash flow up. I'm just like, yeah, okay, you need more people. Man, Nick, how can I get my cash flow to $20,000 and rolling 12, this, that, and that? You need more people. Nick, I want to win this contest, man. How can I win the contest? Man, Primerica got this whole incentive trip. They're going to Orlando. You need more people. Nick, man, I'm so frustrated with these people, man. I'm trying to get people to schedule appointments. They ain't calling me back. I'm texting them. This, that. Man, you need more people. The answer to that question is you need more people. That's warning number one. And so as you are going through your thing, and this is something that I got to do for myself too, whenever I've gone through my moments, because I do have moments in Primerica, whenever I go through my moments, you all don't see it, but Rahima does. And so whenever I go through my moments in Primerica, she doesn't really even see a lot. I just kind of deal with me. And so I always fall back on that and say, you know what? You need more people. You need more people. And not only do you need more people, you need to get better with this next group of people. Maybe you need to communicate better and be more intentional and purpose-driven with this next group of people, because sometimes more people might not be enough. It's something about you that has to change in the midst of you getting more people. Like, you have to grow in an area. Yeah, you need more people. You need more raw material to work with, but there's some growth and development that needs to happen, all right? And with the whole getting new people. And so number 6 is the answer to that question is you need more people. So whatever your question is, probably for 90% of the questions that you guys might have that are, how can I move my business to the next level related? The answer to that is you need more people. You need more people, right? Man, how can I make $1 million like Mika Saunders in 6 years? You need more people. You need more people, all right? That's the answer to the question for a lot of us, all right? So let's go on to number 7. Number 7, let's get to it. Number 7. Oh, man, before we get there, we got an honorable mention that we're going to throw in here. I wish I had an air horn. All right, so this is the honorable mention. The team that helped you get your last promotion, come on, somebody, may not be the team that helps you get your next promotion. Somebody missed it. The team that helped you get your last promotion may not be the team that helps you get your next promotion. Man, we just had a great run. I just got my division leader promoted. I just got my district promotion. Man, we about to shock the world again this month and keep it okay. If you think it's going to happen all over again with the same group of people, it could happen. But the chances are the team that helped you get your last promotion is probably not going to be the same team that helps you get your next promotion. So what does that mean? That means that you can never get comfortable with just the people that you have, right? You should always have a more mentality. Everybody say that with me. You don't have to come off mute, but just say more mentality.
More mentality.
You got to have a more mentality, man. Well, whoever got you to senior rep, you're going to need another group to get you to district. Whoever got you to district, you're going to need another group to get you to division. Now, I'm not trying to say that the people who helped you get to senior rep and district, that they're going to go away. No, they're still there. They're still there. But you need to have a more mentality and say, hey, if I'm going to go to the next level, I got to go get more people. And that new crop, that new unit, that new group of people, that's going to be the people that help level me up. I guarantee you, if you are in a layover, I ain't going to say that you stuck, but you got a layover at a certain promotion level right now. you've had a really long layover, right? If y'all flew anywhere and you feel like, man, you flying across country, you might mess around and end up in Denver and have a 4-hour layover. Something dumb like that, right? You might be down in Florida, you trying to get up to Philly, but your flight that took you to Florida to get up to Philly, then you got a 5-hour layover, like you just got a long layover. You're like, what am I gonna do in these 5 hours in the airport, right? So you might be feeling that way. You parked at senior rep, you parked at district, you parked at division, you know, maybe regional leader. You got a layover. I'm telling you right now, to go from whatever promotion level you're at right now to go to the next level, it's probably not going to be the team that got you to the last promotion. I'm here to tell you right now, it doesn't stop even at the regional vice president level, Benicia. It don't stop. The team that got you to RVP, if you want to go to the next level and start building your team and your base shop, it ain't going to be the team that got you there. It's got to be a whole new group. You and I, we've talked about that. And so I just want you guys to know, always be in that mindset and that mentality of more. I got to get more people. That's if you want to go to the next level. Now, if you're a district leader and you cool with that, you like, hey, look, I'm on a 50% contract. I'm straight with this. I'm not trying to do anything more. Like, that's fine. But I'm talking to the people that, hey, look, you're looking to go up. You're looking to level up, right? Then you need a more mentality. The team that got you to your last promotion is probably not going to be the team that gets you to your next promotion, all right? And so with that being said, all right, let's go to number 7. Warning number 7, 10 things. Again, we're talking about 10 things, 10 warnings to keep you in business. All right, warning number 7 is recruit a new recruit's spouse or partner early. Please, somebody hear me on this. Recruit a new recruit's spouse or partner early in the business. There's an unwritten law. There's an unwritten Primerica law. And you'll hear me and Stephen Coleman talk about this all the time. It's called the house always wins. The house always wins, right? So, Nick, what are you talking about? Please talk to me about that. What you talking about, right? Now, when I say you have to recruit the spouse or the partner early, I'm talking about early on in a new recruit's process. If they have a spouse, whether it's a husband or a wife, or if they have a partner to where, you know, they have a significant other, where they're like cohabitating, they're paying bills together, they might have kids together, whatever the case may be, they got shared real responsibilities together, and that person has an influence on their life, your new recruit's life. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You need to recruit them to Primerica. And I'm not talking about putting IBA on them. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about get them a solution number. No, I'm talking about recruiting them here and also here. You need to recruit them here and here. Your new recruit spouse or partner does not need to be looking at this business as though it's their thing. Like, no, that's her thing. No, that's something she doing. Oh, no, that's something that he doing. I mean, no, I'm not really interested in that. And they're not engaged in any way. They're not participating in anything. They know absolutely nothing about what's going on. I'm telling you right now, if you have a situation that's like that, because this business is a challenge, right? If they don't have a partner or a spouse that is encouraging them and pushing them and saying, hey, we're going to do this. Let's go for it. Let's make this happen. We can build this together. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to be the one, listen to me, that the spouse or the partner has to be the one that's scheduling appointments. They don't have to do that. They don't have to be the one that's out there prospecting and talking to people and all that, getting like, they don't even have to go get licensed. But they do have to be supportive, encouraging, right? Know what's going on. Know you. When y'all have meetings together to strategize what's going on, they're a part of the meeting. Big shout out to Chandra and James Donald, right? When we have meetings and we talk, we're talking to both of them, right? Because if you don't recruit the spouse or the partner early in the process, then it can create strife. It can create confusion in the house. And I'm telling you right now, the unwritten Primerica law is the house always wins. The house always wins. Guys, it's almost heartbreaking how many people I know that have joined Primerica and I've seen their spouse or their partner just drive them out of the business. Just drive them out of the business because that spouse or that partner didn't get locked in early. And so when people, because Primerica is something that, and I know you guys can attest to this, I mean, it's something that, I mean, if you stick around this thing long enough, you get active, man, I mean, you start to grow. I mean, your vision start to expand. You start taking on a different belief system. You know, you start talking different, you know, believing for more. And let me say this, if you have one person in the house that is growing and another person in the house that's not growing, oh, what y'all think about that happening? You got one person in the house that's growing, that's dreaming, that's talking this kind of talk. And you got another person that's like, wait a minute, what happened to you? That they're not growing? Oh, man. It's going to be something that's going to have to be reckoned with. And in my career in Primerica, the house always wins. And I'm not saying anything against that. Hey, it is what it is. But I'm telling you this as a warning that if you recruit a couple, right? If you recruit somebody and they're in a relationship or they're married, whatever, you want to get that spouse engaged. Hopefully from day one. I know sometimes you guys might recruit a wife and the husband's nowhere around, this and the other, and you're running appointments with the wife and y'all are doing y'all thing and all that good stuff, and the husband's nowhere around. Sooner or later, there's going to be a reckoning. There's going to be a reckoning. And I'm telling you right now, you might not like the outcome. You might not like it. And so that's just a warning, right? Some of you guys might have people on your team right now that you running with one of them, you ain't really interacting or doing nothing with the spouse, nothing like that. We got to fix that. We got to fix that. That's a warning, all right? And so that's number 7. Number 8, we're moving right along. Listen, listen, listen. What's that Beyonce song from the Dream Girls soundtrack? Listen, listen. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. Listen, listen, listen. When people tell you things about themselves or what they want, please believe them. Please believe them. It's not up to you to try to convince them otherwise. It's not your job to try to convince them otherwise. Now, we show them things, we expose them to things, but they have to actually tell you that they want more out of the business. Now, we can present them more, but if they say, Nick, all I want to do is just make a little part-time income, I'm not interested in building a team or anything like that, you don't be like, but you'll be so good at it. Let's go build your team and this, that, and then they might just say, well, okay, Tim, okay, I'll go ahead and do that. But you didn't listen. And they may have acquiesced to you in that moment and said, well, if you say so, and they might go along, but sooner or later, because you didn't listen, you're going to have to deal with it. There's going to be a reckoning for that. You have to deal with it. And so listen, listen, listen. When people tell you things about themselves, or when they tell you what they want or what they don't want, it's not up to you to change their mind, right? It's up to you to believe them. Please believe them and act accordingly. Act accordingly. Believe them and act accordingly. And if later on they come to you and they say, hey, I've had a change of heart. I see more. I mean, something is going on. Like, I want more out of this thing, or I've had some changes in my life, and I see this is more. Then you start having a conversation about some things. Let me tell you something. I may have told you guys this story before. I was in Primerica for a couple of months. Stephen Phoenicia never talked to me about, you know, Nick, you can do this, you that, all that. I went to a
in the dark, Braden.
I went to a fast start school, right? I went to a fast start school, and in that fast start school, I heard the closing speaker give a talk that went, I mean, it was like a shot to the heart. I was like, man. And after that school, I called Phoenicia and I said, man, I'm in. And she was like, what you talking about? I said, man, I'm in. I mean, anything y'all need, whatever y'all want me to do, whatever, I'm down, I'm in. And she said, okay, all right. And from that phone call, me and Stephen and Phoenicia, we've been rocking like this ever since. When they made the decision that they were going to move from Dallas to Houston, I went with them because I wasn't playing. When after that talk, it hit me so hard. I called them and said that, hey, I'm in. They didn't try to convince me to move to Houston or like that. They asked me, say, hey, man, this is what we doing. We would love for you to come. But I had already made up in my mind, man, that, hey, man, this is something I'm going to build. If my leadership is moving, then I'm going to move, right? But that's a decision that I came to. And I'm telling you right now, and it kind of goes back to you can't pick your winners too soon. Man, listen to people, right? Listen to them. But at the same time, even if they saying the right things, let them prove by doing. Nick, man, I'm going to be, man, I'm going RVP in 8 months. Man, that sounds good. I want you to. Let's get it. But let's prove it by doing it. Let's do it. You know, let's get some action behind it, man. Let's see what happens and see if you're plugging in and doing the little things. And because that builds up to the regional vice president and all of that. All right. And so
Nick, before you go on, while you were saying that, I just wanted to share with the team, because of course I see a lot of new faces, but I have been with the team for 2, maybe going on 3 years. I don't know. But when I first joined, I entered with that, yeah, we're going to change the world. And then life happened. And I remember coming to you and coming probably to Rahima too and saying, look, this is what I can handle. And this is all I want right here. It didn't matter what Nick's vision was, because, you know, he dreams big, but I literally came to him and said, this is what I can do. And from that moment on, I'm sharing with everyone, he has honored and respected that. And I truly appreciate that, because you actually listened to me in the phase in life that I was in and what I needed.
Appreciate that, Tam.
Kudos.
And that's facts, man. I mean, look, you know, we need everybody. We need everybody, man. Everybody has a role to play in the fabric of this business, because Tam can write a policy as a happy part-timer on somebody, and that one policy that she writes, and it ain't just Tam, this is just an example, right? Let's just say that she writes one policy all year. Man, you don't know what the results of that one policy could be. That one policy that she writes all year might be something that we have to pay a death claim on that changes a family tree forever. So what I'm saying is that regardless of what role people want to play, even if it's not the role that you want them to play, regardless of what role that people communicate with you on, it's not about what you want them to do. Let them share with you and tell you what they want to do, right? And have them function to the best of their ability in the role that they want to play, because we need everybody. It's just a warning that I'm putting out there, because I've tried it the other way. I've tried to force people into being leaders. I've tried to force people into trying to build a business. I've tried to, convince them and sell them on the bigness. And all along, all they want to do is just make a couple of sales every now and then and make a little extra dollars so they can go buy some shoes. Y'all ain't hearing me, man. I'm telling y'all. And people end up leaving. And there's a lot of frustration because they feel like I'm being forced into a role or a box that I'm not comfortable with. I don't want that. All I'm saying, family, is that listen to people. Listen to them, all right? And let's govern ourselves accordingly with that. We're coming down the home stretch, all right? Number nine, warning number 9. This is big. If you don't master the skill, because it is a skill, of getting referrals and working referrals, you will always find yourself, quote unquote, rebuilding or starting over. If you don't master the skill of getting referrals and working referrals, you will always find yourself rebuilding or starting over. Family, getting referrals is a skill. You got to be on purpose with getting referrals. You got to master that, right? You got to work on it. You got to work on it. You got to master it. Because if you're not getting referrals, and I know we're not getting the referrals that like we should. I know it. I know it for a fact. We're not getting referrals. Like we said, every app that we close, every new recruit that decides to lead a business or whatever it's been, like we're not really getting referrals. Even if we get a few referrals, we're not working them like we should, right? We're not doing that because we've wrote a lot of business this year up until this point. Like especially since the pandemic, we've helped a lot of families. We've been fortunate enough to do that. But I know that a lot of those sales that we wrote that weren't internal consumption, meaning that they weren't recruits that actually got their program, but just these appointments and sales that we've done, these life policies that we put in place on people that did not join the business, I know that we didn't do just a stellar job of getting the referrals. But we got to fix that. Because if we don't pay attention to that part of the business, I'm not talking about just prospecting. I'm not talking about just prospecting. I'm talking about getting referrals and working referrals. I see you, Constance. I'm on it. Trust me. And so getting referrals and mastering that skill, you will always and forever find yourself in I'm a rebuilding, I'm starting over, I'm trying to get things going. And that's just it can become a frustrating place to be, especially if you keep going back there. You keep going back there. But I'm telling you right now, it's easy. It's something easy to overlook. I mean, a lot of times you guys have great intentions of getting referrals. Hey, I'm supposed to get back with them. Hey, they wrote down a couple of names. They're supposed to do this. I'm waiting there's always like this. We're supposed to get back. I need to make a phone call and it just kind of sits there. And the referrals really don't get gathered. I'm telling you right now, family, we have to get superb at getting and working referrals because it'll keep you in business. It'll keep you in business. Having that skill. Now, here's the thing. You may not even have to really use that skill a lot because if you're recruiting and building, that means that you're like operating in a new recruit swarm market, all that good stuff. But I'm telling you right now, your new direct recruits that you get, especially for people that are outside of the warm market, your new direct recruits that you get are probably going to come from referrals. They're probably going to come from referrals. But if you're not getting referrals, or if you're not working referrals, then 9 times out of 10, you're not getting any new direct recruits. Listen to me. Listen to me. And so, or not getting enough direct recruits if you're not getting referrals and working referrals. So we got to get superb at that. And so we'll be talking about that here real soon. And I'll put some things out there on the YouTube channel about that specifically. And so warning number 9, if you don't master the skill of getting referrals and working referrals, you will always find yourself rebuilding and starting over. Yeah, that's just a warning. And then warning number 10, coming to the finish line. Prioritize field training activity over licensing activity. Prioritize a new recruit's field training activity over licensing activity. Now, I don't want to be controversial with this one because we are a base shop that is all about getting people licensed. Man, we kicking everybody's tail in the hierarchy too on getting licenses, man. We be doing them RVP meetings on Monday. We be talking about how many people we got past the test, how many licenses. They be like, damn. Like, so we kicking everybody tail. So big shout out to you guys, for really doing your part and getting our teammates licensed and all that good stuff. And I know we still got a lot of people that are going through the process, but you all are doing a very, very solid job. Big shout out to Rahima, who has been quarterbacking the Life Licensing Blitz meeting on Thursdays, and everybody that's been plugging into that. I mean, we're going to continue that push to get people licensed. Well, if that's the case, Nick, what do you mean? Prioritize field training activity over licensing activity. That does not mean that licensing activity is not important. That does not mean that it's less important than field training activity. What I mean is that we have to get so fanatical and focused on getting a new recruit in the field when they join the business, in the field to get field trained before we start thinking about putting them in a licensing class, listen to me, for them to get licensed. We have to get new recruits when they join the business. We got to say, hey, look, we need to go out in the field and get you your first promotion. We need to get you some field training bonus money bank. Let's build some momentum in your business before we put you in a licensing class. Because when they go to the licensing class, that's not really Primerica. And sometimes you will put somebody in a licensing class too soon and you might lose them. Now, I know sometimes you might put somebody in a licensing class and they go get licensed ASAP. But in that process, guys, I'm telling you, if you're going to prioritize field training activity over licensing activity. For example, you meet somebody tomorrow. They say, hey, man, I want to join you in business. The numbers work out in your favor. They join your business. It just so happened it's a licensing class this coming weekend. Are you going to put them in the licensing class this coming weekend? Some of you guys might be thinking, yeah, because I want to get them in the class, and then Omar ain't got another class until another 2 weeks. Man, I want to go ahead and get them through the licensing process so that can be done. No. Get them in the field. They could be in the field recruiting. The next Benicia Walker this week. The next Andrea Fowler. The next Jackie Mayfield. The next Rosalind Morris. The next Constance and Terrence White. They could be in the field recruiting them this weekend. And if they picked up a recruit or two, do you think that they might be excited about going to get their license? I think so. I think so. Because if you put them in class this weekend, you haven't ran any field training appointments. What are they doing the week after they come out of class? I'm studying. I'm studying. And you haven't ran any appointments with them. You got a recruit that's been in the business for over a week. They haven't been on any field training appointments. And we like, what's going on? Then the recruit, you look on the system, they not studying. You like, what's going on? And you trying to get, I'm telling y'all right now, man. Prioritize field training activity over licensing activity. That does not mean that licensing is not important. I promise you guys it is. It's very important. We need to get these recruits out in the field. We need to get them some results. That's what they came here for. Because y'all know how many people that we'll get that's licensed and they never make a sale? Oh my gosh. Like they never, like they get licensed and it's like it's over. So we got to get that field training activity going for a new person. So if there's ever a conversation, if there's ever a conversation or a thought or a debate about field training activity, prioritize field training activity over licensed activity. They need to do both. Obviously that. But when it comes to, I recruited them on Thursday, there's a class this weekend. Do I put them in class this weekend? Please do not do that. Please do not do that. Make sure your new recruit can get in the field. Get in the field. And then you put them in the licensing class. Now, here's the thing. If you have a new recruit, listen to me. This is important. If you have a new recruit that for whatever reason, they don't want to go in the field. They don't want to, they're not producing a list. They're not this, that, and the other. That's different. Then you're steering them towards the licensing process. Then you're steering them towards the licensing process. And that's what you do there. But if you have a recruit that they're engaged in the process, they have a market, they have credibility in that market, and they're willing to take you into that market as the field trainer to do some appointments, then let's prioritize that before we dump them into a pre-licensing class, all right? And so couple of honorable mentions, and then we'll finish up. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So please, family, speak life over your business every single day. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So speak life over your business every single day. Let me tell you something. Your mind, your subconscious mind don't know if you're joking or if you're serious. It doesn't know. So if you're saying things just kind of joking, like, I don't know if these people gonna buy nothing, man. They probably ain't got no money. And you just saying stuff like that, but you go, I'm just talking. I'm not. No, your subconscious mind does not know if you are joking or if you're serious. And so the things that come out your mouth, the seeds that you are planting with your words, that is the harvest that you're gonna bring up. So you need to speak life. Speak life over your business every single day. Every single day. Man, I'm the leader that everybody loves and wants to follow. I'm a magnet for attracting the people and circumstances that are necessary for the fulfillment of my goals and dreams. Everything that I touch grows and prospers. Man, this family is going to see this opportunity and want to get involved. Like, you are speaking life over your business every single day. Every single day. Please do that. Please do that, right? Even if you have doubt in your mind, you need to be speaking something different. Listen to me, y'all. Because your body and your mind is going to follow what comes out of your mouth. I'm telling you, man, speak it and let it manifest. All right? And so one more thing, and then we'll finish up. Just remember, you're always only one recruit away from an explosion. You're always only one recruit away from an explosion in your business. And I'm talking about, man, you can talk to this person and this cat say, hey, no. This person, no. 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 H no. No. No, 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 no. Everybody telling you no. No, keep going. No, I'm not interested. Don't want to join that thing. No, no. Yes. Yes. That one person out of all those no's is the yes. And that one yes, like it says here, and that recruit may be your next Zoom appointment. That one yes might take you to all of these people. They might be the gateway to all of these people. You might be one recruit away from an explosion. And that recruit may be your next Zoom appointment. It might be your next Zoom appointment. But I need you to believe. I need you to believe as you going into that Zoom appointment, this is going to be the one. This is my next Zoom appointment. If they say no, you say, that's fine. It's going to be the next one. Believe that your next is going to be the one. And you know what? You're going to be right. You're going to be right. Just remember, you're one recruit away from an explosion, and that recruit may be your next Zoom appointment, right? And so, family, those are the 10 warnings. The 10 warnings of the business. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. I am recording this, so I'm excited about all of that good stuff, man. We are going to upload this to the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to watch this training or listen to it whenever you want to. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. I know I did. I had fun with it, but heed those warnings. I could have added several more to that list. Maybe we might do a part 2 to the training and add some more warnings to it. But those are some ones that I want you guys to really just kind of take in and really govern yourselves accordingly. All right. Thank you guys for that.